Hello, everybody. Today I'm talking about April 2020 and what we can expect from it. So, all of us are experiencing challenging times, and we have to find strength in these challenges. And what are the planets saying? And how to deal with it is the important factor, and sometimes also how to deal with situations that we can't do anything. The main thing to understand is that April has the dominance of Capricorn and Saturn, and how to understand Saturn, what is his message, as well as to remember that all of us are in it together. So we are all equal and we are all humble, and we are going to overcome this situation. There's quite a lot of strength in planets, and even the weak planets have a positive message. So let us explore. Hello, I'm Komilla Sutton. We are talking about planetary news of April 2020. And I must remind you to please subscribe, press the bell notification. And I'm hoping to reach 20,000 subscribers in April. And I have had so much love and affection from you. And I so appreciate that. So I want to thank you for that and appreciate you as well. So we are standing at almost near 20,000 just now. So thanks. And April 2020, the thing is this, that the big signature for April 2020 is Capricorn. Saturn is there, Mars is there, Jupiter is there. Now, the month starts very dramatically because there is a Mars-Saturn conjunction on 31st of March and 1st of April. Mars-Saturn are in war. Mars is strong, exalted. Saturn is strong in his own sign, but Saturn is the lord of the house, so he's the boss. And we should understand what Saturn's message is just now. And Jupiter has joined, but Jupiter doesn't actually join in this drama at all. It's just early degrees. And but there are 3 planets in Capricorn. Moon will come there as well. So all month we will have in April Capricorn as the dominating force. So, Saturn is always democratic. He's telling everybody that we are all in together. Nobody's rich or poor, spiritual or non-spiritual. No color of skin is better or worse. Everybody is in it for together. So we have to look at this crisis and learn from it. We are all at home for most of the month, and we have to learn to detach, to spend some time in internal meditation, to think about how we can deal with the situation and what we can do and how we can transform, and what is our responsibility in taking care of the world, our country, our community, our family, finally ourselves. So we have to think about the bigger picture. And Saturn and Mars and Jupiter, all 3 are in Uttara Ashada Nakshatra. So Uttara Ashada's message is the hard bed. So hard bed, it's the symbol is the hard bed. So we have to think of austerity. Actually, when the soul comes to Uttara Ashada, it is thinking about what can I do to purify myself? What can I do to purify my energy so that I am lighter and better in the future? So now with these 3 most important planets all in Uttarashada, this is what you should be thinking, that what can I do? How can I help the old, the infirm, those who are feeling afraid, those who are in some kind of difficulty. And, people are very strong. So they will find their strength because the planets are strong. Saturn is in its own sign. Mars is exalted. Jupiter, although is in Capricorn, is Vargotama. And I feel that Jupiter coming into Capricorn is very important because Jupiter is in its Vargotama position, and it has moved out of Sagittarius. What was happening in Sagittarius is an expansive sign. And so everything was expanding more and more, whereas Capricorn will restrict the energy. So it can restrict these global energies that we are dealing with and create ability for us to cope with it. So Jupiter is not, it's weak. We would say it's debilitated, but it's not really. In that weakness, there is strength. And that is the most important thing. And it has a double cancellation by Saturn and by Mars. So we've got to be strong, austere. Austerity is very important. So austere, strong, and be, thinking about the world at this stage. Then Mercury is also very interesting in April, because since January, Mercury has been in Aquarius. Aquarius is a Vata sign, the Ayurvedic Vata air energy. Mercury is the great communicator. It represents the press. It represents things that are go all over the place. And also, I was thinking that Mercury deals with the skin, and it's like the body, and it absorbs everything. And this Mercury is not absorbing our skin, but it's absorbing in everybody's skin as well. And also Mercury is very flexible, so it can take any energy. So being in Aquarius, it was multiplying, giving the message. Also, Aquarius's message is also to take care of the world. But on the fear and anxiety and worry level, Mercury in Aquarius can be quite difficult. But on 8th of April, Mercury moves into Pisces, and it is moving into Pisces after a long time, because Mercury usually only stays 20-25 days. And so that movement into Pisces, although debilitation sign for Mercury, is actually a strength for Mercury, because it is going out of that Vata energy. So the Pisces is more nurturing, caring, transformative. Also, Pisces is bringing, some creative ideas, some thinking for future planning. I think that is what is going to be Mercury's big role. So this is what I was saying, that April is strength in weakness. So even though we would astrologers say that Mercury is in Pisces is debilitated, but actually it has a role to play here. And also it will also encourage people to think more outside the box, think more intuitively, and also not just be anxious and absorb all the negative news. So that is one very important thing. Then I would say great importance is the sun. Sun has been in Pisces. It was in Aquarius, and it has been in Pisces, and on 13th, 14th, depending on where you are in the world, sun is going to go into Aries, where it is exalted. And sun is the heat. Sun has the capacity to burn itself, burn other things out. So that is a very good transit, and therefore the world will get heated, especially the northern hemisphere. But Sun in Aries will help everybody, north and south, everybody's in it together. We should not think it's only affecting the northern hemisphere. This is something that the global energy we have to watch out for and be aware of. But Sun in Aries will be extremely powerful. And then we have Venus, and Venus is already gone into Taurus and 28th of March, and it has a long stay in Taurus. So this long stay in Taurus is a very good thing. So all next month, Venus is in Taurus and remains in Taurus till 30th or 31st of July. So it's a long stay in Taurus. And, Taurus is nurturing. It is connected to the earth. Taurus is also the natural second house ruler, and Venus is there. Therefore, it is showing some stability in finances. So this transit of Venus in Taurus is definitely will stabilize the situation. I know a lot of you are hurting at this time, and there's a lot of fear and anxiety of what has happened, but you can see this aspect of a change coming. And because Venus is just gone into Taurus, sometimes, when we are seeing situations and things in planets, the planets are doing something today, but the effect is not immediate. It's just like they take some time for the effect to be shown. But what you're seeing here is that there is a earth signature, because Venus is in Taurus, and Jupiter, Saturn, and Mars are in Capricorn. So we have this earth aspect that is very strong. And so there's a practical way of looking at it, and realistic and regimented. Saturn as well as Mars both are encouraging regimented behavior. Don't feel it's not going to happen to me. Don't let your ego talk be rational. But there is a number of changes that are positive. But first things, especially 31st and 1st and few days around that with the Mars-Saturn clash, there's a lot of frustration around that you have to watch out for. And I can't be complete about April without looking at what Rahu Ketu are doing. And the thing is this, that Rahu Ketu are in Gemini and Sagittarius, both power positions for Rahu Ketu. And Rahu is in Ardhara, Rahu's own nakshatra, Ketu is in Mula, own nakshatra. So this Ardhara Mula combination is quite complicated, because last time the world was in crisis when Rahu was in Ardhara, because that was when 9/11 happened, and that created a global disturbance. In New York it started, and now again Rahu in Ardhara, and New York is going through a crisis of gigantic proportions. But then Jupiter was in Sagittarius when last time when the world economy crashed. So Jupiter being in Sagittarius was in 2018. And so that is where Jupiter going into Capricorn is much more sober, because Jupiter is going away from Ketu, although they are not in the same nakshatra. And then Rahu Ketu are having an intermittent Kal Sarpa yoga. I spoke about the Kal Sarpa yoga and earlier, so you can look at that slide as well. So the Kal Sarpa yoga by transit, people keep saying that doesn't matter. It's not there in the classics, but experience has taught me that every time Kal Sarpa happens, the world can get destabilized. But with so many other planets that are there, the Kal Sarpa is creating an instability. And we also have, so Rahu and Ketu in May are going to move out of Ardhara Mula. Then Rahu will be in Mrigasira, and Ketu will be in, actually Rahu will move out of Ardhara, Ketu will move only in September. So Rahu's moving out of Ardhara in May, I think 21st of May. So these are, times where we've got to think about because sometimes, the world's conscience is shaken. What we are thinking as reality is shaken. And is this a negative energy or a positive energy? At least on a spiritual level, those of us, we are looking at this, it is really difficult, but at the same time, it is shaking us. It's telling us that we have to think about the bigger picture, the stronger picture, and the underlying fundamentals are all quite steady. So you will see that once this thing is controlled, and the governments have also got uh, money spent in healthcare. Uh, I was thinking that so much money is spent on defense of countries through buying ammunition and buying all those things. What we are now thinking is that finances should be also spent on medical, on health of the country, on defense of that as well. Hardly any money. That is where people are taking money away. So therefore, it's a shaking of our consciousness. All of us have to think, and I have been in shelter at home in California. We've had for the last 14 days, and it has been a very much a learning experience. I always personally live alone, so I'm always okay to be on my own. But at the same time, it is something that we have to think about. So each of the signs, how you're going to deal with it. So one of the questions I have been asked very often is that, what am I doing these transits from? So you can study the transit from your ascendant and from your moon sign. I often find personally that the ones from the ascendant works more strongly for me. However, in the classics, and a lot of the teachers teach us that you must study the transits from the moon sign. So what I like to do is I look at both. So let's start with Aries. Aries, Mars is exalted, so you have to watch out for 31st and 1st and little bit there, but you can feel very frustrated. Whereas what you have to think is you have to discipline yourself, work with energy and focus. And Sun will get exalted. That will be very helpful for you. But it is about your future, what work you want to do, where you want to go. Taurus, Venus is in Taurus, you are in a good position. Whatever the outer noise is, you have to think it is outer noise, but it is a good position for you. Venus is unusually there till end of July. It usually only stays 25 days in Taurus. So we have a long Taurus experience. We all have to think about what we want to do, but it is going to make you feel stable and happy. Gemini, Mercury moves out of Aquarius into Pisces. That is a strong energy for you. It's also about work, career. Even though it's debilitated, I would say just watch out a little bit for health. But it is means health doesn't mean you'll get ill. It means you are thinking what food I'm going to eat, how I'm going to look after myself, what I'm going to do. And the fact that Saturn, Mars and Jupiter in your 8th house, it's about transformation and change, and to be ready for that. I think Mercury is very flexible and Gemini will be able to cope with that. Cancer, Mars is in the 7th house, Saturn is in the 7th house. This is creating 2 Mahapurusha yogas. And so there's a lot of energy, partnership, relationships. Again, watch out for the conjunction. A moon is always traveling, So you have to watch the new moon, full moon. There's no eclipse this time. So you have to watch the daily transits. Sun in Aries, that is strong for you. Taurus, Venus in Taurus shows financial stability as well for you. So again, I would say that emotionally, sometimes Cancer can be up and down. So be conscious of that. Leo, Sun is exalted, so this can be a very good time for you. Sun hasn't been in the best position for the last few months, so that means you get your verve back, your energy back. You start thinking more positively, not feeling that life is not going the way I want to go. Of course, there are certain conditions we have no control over, but this will really energize you after the 13th, 14th of April. But do watch out that, if people are disagreeing with you, it is okay. You can listen to their opinion as well. And Venus in Taurus, it's in your 10th house work-wise. You can find some opportunities there as well. Virgo, Mercury has changed signs after a long time in Aquarius. And for you, Aquarius is not the best energy. It is the 6th house, so it's come into the 7th house. And relationships are important. And it is, although it is in debilitation, it is strong. It is in a Kendra house. And again, as I said, you have to just watch out what food you eat, what are your sleeping habits, how you're looking after yourself, because that is an annual thing whenever Mercury goes into Pisces. But it is important to think of how you can do things for others, but also be realistic. Saturn, Mars, Jupiter, all in your 5th house. So children can be a handful. If you don't have children, it could be people working with you. It can also mean that you can spend some time doing some mantra practice, some spiritual learning. 5th house is serious stuff, serious learning is there. Libra, you get Sun in your 7th house exalted. So partners are pretty strong. They can support you. You have Saturn and Mars and Jupiter in the 4th house, which is to do with home. And Saturn is in a Mahapurusha yoga. Mars is in a Mahapurusha yoga. Watch out for clash with partners on 1st of April, 1st, 2nd of April, when Mars Saturn clash. But otherwise, I would say that, try not to think too negatively about things, because sometimes Saturn in the 4th house can make you feel, pressurized. But otherwise, if you work with that, things will be improving for you. Your ruling planet Venus is in the 8th house. 8th house can bring unexpected finances, money in your to you. Also a time to research and look at some new ways of making life better for yourself. Scorpio, you have your ascendant ruler exalted all month. Only thing to watch out is the Mars-Saturn conjunction on 1st, and then 2nd as well. You can take few days. After that, they relax. Everything is in the 3rd house. What are you going to do? Your courage, your confidence. So planning, organizing, restricting yourself, organizing yourself is the game this month. And Venus is in your 7th house, so relationships are very supportive. You are experiencing a Malavya Mahapurusha yoga for the month or for the next 4 or 5 months. So that can bring pleasure in your life. Sagittarius, the Jupiter is debilitated. So what happens is that you may have been maybe having some grand ideas, but it's important to restrict yourself. I think it's, USA has a Sagittarius ascendant, at least the chart I use. So for USA also, it will show that as a country, they are more practical as Jupiter goes into Capricorn. And also, if you are Sagittarius, you are also going to deal with life more practically. You have to rethink your finances, think how you're going to work with more restriction. Actually, it's not restriction in the long run. It seems like restriction just now. Capricorn, you are having the three planets, starring planets of April in your ascendant or your moon sign. Actually, ascendant and moon sign may experience it differently depending on the degree of your moon. Then you may be in intense Sati. So that may be a complicated sign because Saturn is going over your moon. If Saturn is going over the ascendant, one of the difficulties is regarding work. Sometimes Saturn transiting over your ascendant can mean a change of work or loss of job or something. So, with the present circumstances, some of you are Capricorn, maybe experiencing that, but also maybe thinking yourself that you want to make some changes. But actually, Saturn and Mars are two Mahapurusha yogas in the chart. So they are giving strength to you while they are also bringing stress to you. So there are two things to look for. And then also to see where Venus is. Venus is in Taurus, and it is your lucky planet. It is long time in Taurus, so giving you a lot of support in the fifth house. Yes, many planets in the 12th house. It's a good time to meditate, to be spiritual, to think about other people, to care for other people. You have Saturn, your ascendant ruler. Venus is giving big support to you. It's in your fourth house of home, happiness. You're living very comfortably. Opportunities are there for you, and you feel, despite the other difficulties, you feel at peace with yourself. And I think that if it is important, Aquarius like doing this thing. Think about some global thing you can do. Think about giving back to society. Also think about doing something spiritual during this time. And partners will be very supportive because that energy. Sun is strong, so partners are supportive. And Pisces are in again, Lagna Lord is debilitated, but Pisces not really concerned about money and finances. But at this stage, three planets are in the 11th house of finances. So I would say that it's a good time to think about your finances and what is happening and restructure your earnings and savings. And that will be very useful for you. Secondly, do communicate with people what you feel. And I would say that with the sun, your sixth house ruler being exalted, you'll feel more energized. You'll feel a lot more energy. Sun was in your ascendant, so as the sixth house ruler, that was dampening things a little bit, but you'll feel more energized, even though the ascendant ruler is in Capricorn. So that is it for today. And do remember to subscribe, to press the bell notification. And I always appreciate you. Thank you.